Oh, Hank, it's Friday, the only day I make Secret Brother videos. I was at my mom's grave today. It's like a annual ritual thing. You go to the place the day they had died and you clean the gravestone, leave some offering like flowers, sometimes treats and liquor. There's many traditions we try to abandon from the old China in what happens after people dies, like burning paper money because it causes fire, because you use fire in woods. It used to be a very prestigious thing too, maybe still is. You build a luxurious grave to your ancestor and leave some fancy offering to show that you have become successful. But now we see this as a waste of resources and try to keep it to a certain level. Same as the transition from burying a full casket which contains the entire body to burying a box or jar or of ash and leave a small gravestone. This is a problem especially for big city. Graves fill up and they don't stack well. I talked with my dad about my grandparents. They wanted to be buried where my grandfather had born. It felt weird to imagine going to their grave every year, 1,000 kilometers away. But let's talk about the past and my mom, since that's also a kind of nostalgia. I subscribed to the channel of Thunderfoot recently, lousy name to be in Chinese characters, LOL. I was there for the Why People Laugh at Creation series because I've read too much Bible and preaching material, so I was like, okay, I'll have this for a change, finally. I felt relief watching his video pointing out how ridiculous some arguments are, but for his against feminism video, I don't feel exactly the same way. It just so much hate putting into the whole thing. So I thought to see what's the argument on the other side and looked up Anita Sarkeesian. I really wanted to watch the video, but the rating and comments are disabled. So what's the point of making a point if people can't argue with you? So I had to give up on that. And then I had an argument with someone else on YouTube regarding another comment. One Braincraft made a video about how male and female have the same brain link in the doobly-doo, or like here maybe. I don't know, I don't link. And I said no, with a dislike. You're dismissing evidences against your opinion, because that's how that video sounds to me. And that person actually liked my comment, but I disagree something else he said. And that escalated quickly. I was called dumb. But in the argument, I mentioned my mother and other female figures live in my family, so I thought to talk about that. Hence, a couple minutes of your time spent listening to why, but that's the essence of vlogs. So, as you probably know, my mom died when I was about 8. But really, it has been 17 whole years. The thing we argued about is there a family role, as in raising child, being a housewife, that biological females inherently have? His opinion is yes. My opinion is, except from breastfeeding and actually giving birth, not so much. Our society has evolved greatly beyond the hunter-gatherer or whatever lifestyle. So you might say, I argue against feminists and people against feminists. But that would be incomplete generalization. I simply argue against everyone. The classical, direct, linear females in my family tree are my mother, her mother, and my dad's mother. They all had jobs throughout their lives. Well, obviously they retired. My grandma-in-law was in the geology department, of course, of the government. She likes to tell me stories when she was young, going to the mountains, finding veins of crystal. Apparently, that was used to make optical stuff and satellites at the time. My grandma from my father's side worked with Lenovo. You might know them from ThinkPad. But nothing compared to my mom's impact on who I've become today. My mom was a reporter of the newspaper of the Political Consultative Conference. Yes, that exists. Google it. So she take photos, write articles and publish them on newspaper. She has wrote about protecting the environment, fundraising for those who live under really poor conditions in remote areas, and some problems in our society. Of course, she does the normal interviewing someone important and writes some stuff saying like others. How she changed me is, when I look back on what she did, I have this strong opinion that there's right things and wrong things to do. You don't just live as an individual doing things that serves your best interest. You do things with the intent to contribute to the society, to serve the people. That's the first motivation of many I have, and that has never changed since I was a child. And that would never have happened if she was just a housewife. She taught me this with her work, with her actions. Yes, sure, but someone has to teach me how to brush my teeth in the morning, wipe my butt after pooping, how to use a chopstick. But when you don't use a chopstick, you use pears. That's the thing. But that's not nearly as important. And that's really all I know about females' role in the family. To be honest, I know very few things about what is feminism. I think whether giving females some extra help in places is worth debating. Maybe even on an ad hoc basis. But gender discrimination is absolutely a problem in the English-speaking society over the internet. I once got insulted in World of Warcraft just because I'm a girl. I mean, what the fuck? It's called Many Men Online Role-Playing Girls for a reason. But then if you are taught to find problems like gender-based discrimination, you find problems where there's no problems, and miss problems where there is problems. And now I'm just blabbing about logic, fallacies, and biases again. Okay, I know this vlog is getting long, but there's still another thing I want to share. I watched the movie Minions today. It reminds me of how different people see things differently. I know you probably know this already, but I just want to share how this made sense for me. I watched a movie with a bunch of people who are students of movie making things. Another movie. Unlike regular people, they comment on how the whole thing is made. What must have been behind the scenes, how the camera is moved, and all the professional stuff I don't remember. And now I'm going to say a sentence, try to remember what I said and repeat. Ready? 我觉得在界面设计的时候，把复选框当成单选框的人都应该去死。And I already knowing Chinese and not knowing Chinese will make a statistical significant difference in how many syllables remembered and can be repeated from the sentence, despite being presented the same sentence. I suppose you're convinced now. Listen to the same sentence in English. I think those who use combo boxes and radio buttons in designing a GUI should all go to hell. Which I totally agree, by the way. Can't believe they are still doing it. But then if you don't know about designing how software looks, maybe you've missed some details. The hypothesis I ended up with, the things we already know plays a role in how we see the same things differently. Like professional knowledge, language. There are other factors, but if you think of it, this is kind of interesting. You don't see the world. You see a projection of yourself on the world. So if you look like an apple, despite the world as a perfect plane, you see your shadow is apple shaped, and you conclude the entire world is shaped like an apple. And that finally ends this vlog. Thanks for watching the FTBA.